to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And today we are hopping back in for part 2 of our Glenshee Mansion case.
That's right. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, or you are the 93% of our listeners who are not subscribed to us, just a reminder, you can find all of our social medias linked in the description below. We would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and follow. Also, if you have any ideas for episodes, any, feedback on like some recording software that you really like, because we are currently in a little bit of a hot cold relationship with our recording software. So we are more than open to any suggestions you have.
Yes.
Leave those down below or email us. That email is in the description. Now, we're saying this is part 2, so I'm going to give you the quick elevator pitch on what happened in part 1. Just a reminder, we do have trigger warnings for this one for
murder, violence, financial
insecurity.
Yeah.
Perfect. So the
names?
The last name of the family.
The Congdons.
Dowtree is what came to mind.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, no.
It's been a day, guys. Well, it's been a week.
It's been a week.
It's been a hot week.
It's been a week. So the Congdons, very, very influential family. We are in Duluth. We are in now the 1930s. And, the big thing is Grandma and Grandpa, they were philanthropists. They did all these wonderful things. They accrued a lot of money. Their daughter, Elizabeth, she maintains the estate, and she decided to adopt 2 daughters, Jennifer and Marjorie, in her later years. And now Marjorie, at this point in the story, she is an adult. She has been married twice. And she's on her second marriage. Her first marriage ended because of her extreme compulsive spending that Elizabeth, her mother, never curbed. Her mother just paid off all the extreme debts. But now the first marriage has ended because the husband found out just how much debt Marjorie was getting them into, because she was fraudulently opening cards. She was committing forgeries. She was doing some bad stuff.
It's really bad.
Really bad. And now she is married to Roger Cladwell, who thinks that he can curb her spending. He is thinking she's mysterious and beautiful and wonderful, and he can fix her. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the rest of the story, but I know you can't fix a person. So now we get to find where the other shoe drops, because we got to hear about how amazing this family was, how amazing Elizabeth was, how she tried to raise her daughters into amazing women. And it sounds like Jennifer, the oldest, turned out well. Marjorie's becoming the problem child.
Yeah. And Jennifer turned out well, because we don't really talk about her for the rest of the story.
Perfect. So Jennifer good, Marjorie not so good. So this is a really long elevator ride and elevator pitch. But now we find out what's the bad thing.
Yep, because Connie still doesn't know what's coming.
I still don't know what's coming. I know Marjorie's involved. That's all I know. But
yeah, because during the break, Connie was saying something about her being like Marjorie. And I'm like, nope.
No, not in the spending habits. I don't even remember what comparison I was drawing either. But as soon as you were like, you don't want to say that, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I really honestly don't remember what we were talking about, but
I don't either, because that was in the midst of our technology blundering.
Yeah. So again, if you have any suggestions on recording software, please let us know.
Please. So with that, let's hop into part 2 of the Glenshee Mansion.
Yes. All right. So, we're starting back off here with Roger and Marjorie starting to, feel that strain, that financial strain. The couple's dynamic grew increasingly tense, with Rogers attempting to impose limits and Marjorie resisting any form of restriction. Marjorie's insistence on maintaining a high standard of living strained their relationship and depleted their finances. Roger's initial stability was soon compromised by the shared financial burden, leading to stress and arguments. He found himself increasingly drawn into Marjorie's tumultuous world, which included not just overspending, but manipulative tactics to obtain more money. Yeah, and that's why I stopped where I stopped, because we're really going downhill fast here.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Well, the exact figures of the debt Marjorie accumulated during her time with Roger aren't fully documented, which I found something in the court case later, so we'll talk about it at the very, very end after everything. It's widely acknowledged that the couple's financial troubles were severe and extensive. Marjorie's penchant for extravagant purchases, impulsive investments, and accumulating credit card debt put immense strain on their finances, drawing Roger deeper and deeper into financial turmoil. This hurts me.
Raise your hand if you saw this coming. Yeah.
Especially after the first.
Yeah. She ends a 16-year, well, technically her ex-husband ended it after 16 years and 7 children because of her spending habits. But like, I'm sorry. You cannot majorly change a person. I don't care what Hallmark movie told you otherwise. It was wrong. It was wrong. You cannot change a person like that. I'm just saying, movies give unrealistic expectations.
They do. So do books.
So do books.
See our Twilight episodes. One of the more notorious incidents illustrating Marjorie's financial independence and disregard for practical concerns was her purchase of, oh, you're going to love this one, was her purchase of a home without Roger's knowledge.
Hey, honey, how was your day? Great. How was yours? What'd you do? Oh, I just picked up a couple things at the store. Milk, eggs, a house, creamer, laundry detergent. The normals. A house? She bought a house? Who is selling to her? Like, how are these stores? I'm sorry, Minnesota and Duluth especially, it is a giant small town. How on earth are these retailers still selling stuff to her? Because, like, she's not making payments.
This wasn't in Duluth.
Oh.
I was trying to look up real quick because me, mentally not fully there while writing these notes, didn't write down which lake it was, but it was...
And there's 10,000 of them in Minnesota.
But it was one down here, so it was like either like Lake Harriet or Lake...
Bidet-Makasa.
Yeah, what was the original one of that one?
Calhoun.
It was that one.
Yep.
Sorry. It recently changed and I couldn't remember what it changed to, and
there's several like Calhouns in Minnesota, and I've got family that's on one, so that's why I remember it. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then I didn't know it was a bad thing. When I was a kid, I literally thought it was called like cow loon.
Yeah.
Like it was a cow loon.
Yeah.
As in the cow and the loon, the state bird. So it took me a little while.
Yeah.
Looking back on my life, I think I might have some auditory processing issues.
Same though. I feel like that's a kid thing though.
It's a kid thing.
You just make it what you know.
True. Granted, I did just hear penchant as bitchin', so hasn't fully grown out. But like Google AI, when they're reading stuff to the computer, it's not always easy to understand.
No, it's not.
No.
But so she bought a house on Lake Calhoun or whatever it is now. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
Bidet-Makasa.
That.
I love saying it. It rolls around the mouth really fun.
I can't remember it. It's hard. And I'm fairly confident that was the lake. If it's not, let me know, and I'm sorry.
It was a lake back in the day
certain.
that had like the old money, big money folks on it. Like
yeah.
It was the Superior of down here.
Yeah, and I believe, again, if I'm not mistaken, it was like $300,000.
Back then?
Or no, in today's money, it would be like $300,000 house.
So she just up and...
Could you imagine all of a sudden one day you leave and then come back and be like, oh, hi, honey, by the way, I just bought us a $300,000 house.
I love my husband and I trust him. I have so much faith in him. Also, I'm going to need to put down whatever I'm holding because I'm going to need a second to step out and collect myself before continuing that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Okay, so Marjorie bought a house without telling her husband.
Yep. This decision, symbolic of her unchecked spending, blindsided Roger and underscored the lack of transparency and control he had over their shared financial situation. Such an acquisition not only contributed to their financial instability, but also heightened the tension in their relationship. Roger, who initially sought to maintain financial discipline, found himself overwhelmed as debts mounted and his efforts to manage their finances were repeatedly undermined by Marjorie's actions. The more we talk, I just get more stressed out.
I'm stressed for him. This happened almost 100 years, 90 years? Wait, we're in 34 now? Either way, point is, this was over 50, 60 years ago, and I'm lowballing. I'm stressed.
I'm really stressed, yeah.
But we're stressed.
Oh, here, we have a number. Around 60s.
Oh, in the 60s.
Yeah, we're up to the 60s now.
Okay. Well, almost 70 some years ago, I'm stressed.
Wait. No, we're in the 70s.
60 some years. Almost 60 some years ago. I really had to mental that. Wow. Oh my God, the 70s were almost 60 years ago?
50, almost 55 years ago. 70.
60 years ago. I said 70 years ago. Oh, dear. Either way.
73, 2, 5.
The fudge? I don't love that. Because, like, the 90s are 10 years ago. But it's not.
I know, the 90s don't feel that long ago.
No.
Yeah, so great stuff Marjorie's doing here. Great stuff.
She's doing something.
Yeah. This large unforeseen expenditure was part of a pattern that complicated their marriage. It deepened the couple's financial woes and exacerbated the stress between them, pushing Roger to a breaking point. Sound familiar? Just to put this in perspective for y'all, at this point, Marjorie owed over $1 million. So maybe that $300,000 house was actually $300,000 house. That's what I'm thinking.
I think it was. And then, yeah.
Yeah. Especially thinking about how much those houses cost now. It's probably $300,000 house back then.
She had over $1 million in debt. Oh my God.
And that's in the 70s.
Oh my God. No. I am stressed for them. $1 million in debt. $1 million in debt. Oh my God.
I mean, we're talking about house. We're talking about credit cards. We're talking about everything. Yeah. There was a story about that she like would buy horses.
Well, that'll get you there.
Yeah, but didn't actually like pay for them. Just kept saying like, "Oh, I lost your address to send the check to," or like she, yeah.
This woman is stressing me out.
I think it's worse because both of us are very like with our finances. One, we're stressed right now because current student, post student.
It's not a great job market. Yeah.
Yeah, it's stressful. But also, we are like pretty on top of our money.
Minus me in the last year with the wedding and Zeus getting sick and everything else. Other than that, yes.
Yeah. But like for the most part, like we're not recklessly spending. We are like, if we spend like $100 on ourselves, we're like, that was a splurge. Like,
yeah, literally, I just did that because I was like, okay, I need to get a pair of boots that aren't going to hurt me.
Yep.
And like, I need to get myself dark pairs of jeans that I can wear to these events and things where it's not like, it's not 100% casual. It's not business casual. It's in between. So I'm like, I need jeans, so that right there between the 2 pairs of jeans, because Levi's, and then not sponsored, but hey,
If you want to sponsor
that's a
us.
lot of sponsor. And then the boots, that was 100, and like hitting add to cart and then pay. I had like a mini moment of oh god, oh god, oh god.
I know it like physically hurts me to spend $100, or if it's over $100. Ooh, it's not.
I know.
Bear agrees.
I'm sorry, that was hilarious.
So that amount of money just blows my mind.
I'm panicking. And just like think about how much she would have, like quantity wise, had to buy to get to
How
a
much?
million in debt in the 70s. Today, not that hard. Stress. Are we all stressed about the economy? Okay, good. But like back then, when stuff was like you could, go to the grocery store with a nickel and you can come out with a week's worth of like healthy full groceries.
Yeah, now $100 doesn't get you very far at all.
Really doesn't.
Nope.
Even like going to Aldi or anywhere else.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Life's expensive.
So
We got a sidetrack, but like anyway, yeah. So like, just Jesus, Marjorie, no.
I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which is why we put the trigger warning, because if you're listening to this and you're wanting to de-stress, we don't want to, like, we put the trigger warning in because, again, this is bad financial
Distress.
shit. Yeah.
It is not stress. It is distress.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right. So, in 1964, Elizabeth had a massive stroke, leaving her partially paralyzed and had aphasia. Do you know what aphasia is? Maybe I should explain it.
You and I have talked about aphasia,
Okay.
but I don't remember it.
Yeah, so it's like difficulty finding words or saying the wrong words or having issues saying like a full sentence.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
But more than what we struggle with in the podcast.
Yeah. Like, obviously, like, when you see these people, because I've had patients like this all the time, you can tell, like, a word will come out, like, say, like, I'm trying to say clock to you. I want to say clock, but dog comes out. That is aphasia.
Yeah. Are they aware that they're saying dog when they mean clock? Or it depends, case by case.
It depends. I've had some people that and don't come for me, this isn't out of a textbook or anything. This is my personal experience seeing people.
As a medic.
As a paramedic, first responder, EMS, whatever you want to say. I have seen people where they will say the word and then just be like, that wasn't what I meant. But other people, they're like, a dog. And like, why are you not understanding? Because it's a dog.
Crossed wires.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, since that massive stroke, Elizabeth had a nurse in her home with her around the clock, 24/7, to help assist her. And remember when we said in this episode the shoe's going to drop?
Ka-thunk?
Ka-thunk.
Ka-thunk, ka-thunk.
Ka-thunk. Well, about to. On June 26th, 1977, Elizabeth returned home from a weekend trip to Wisconsin, which was normal for her in the summertime. She went to this Wisconsin cabin every weekend, which I don't know why, because you're already on Lake Superior.
I'm like, she's on Lake Superior, she's on Lake Calhoun, now Bede-Mont-Scott, she's
she's not. This is Elizabeth, not Marjorie.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard Elizabeth. Aphasia. No, not aphasia. Elizabeth.
You heard Marjorie.
I heard Marjorie. Oh.
Well, if I was saying Marjorie, my bad.
No, you probably... Girl, it's been a week.
It's been a week.
If we had a drinking game tonight, I would take a shot every time we say it's been a week.
We'd be dead.
We'd be in trouble. We'd be in big trouble.
Yeah. So she would go to her Wisconsin cabin every weekend in the summer.
Okay, so Elizabeth, the mom.
Elizabeth.
The good one, the
The mom.
philanthropist.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep. So her day shift nurse was present when she came home to help her unpack, as was their custom when she returned home, and then they went and played a game of cards together. And Elizabeth liked this. She liked playing cards because she didn't have to talk, but she could still spend quality time with someone.
That's so sweet and sad.
It is. It is. Around 10 p.m., that nurse helped Elizabeth to bed. And as her routine went, Elizabeth slept with her gold watch and her cherished platinum strawberry dome ring adorned with 12 diamonds and 15 sapphires.
Is this maybe supposedly the one that... Oh.
That, yeah, so if you...
Strawberry dome ring, Elizabeth.
Congdon, Congdon. I haven't looked it up.
I like jewelry.
I was wondering, I'm like, what are you typing over there? But supposedly, this was in our part 1 episode. Supposedly, and I couldn't find anything to back this, apparently the guy that proposed to Elizabeth and she said no after he passed away told her to, in his will, to buy her a ring to remember him by. And supposedly that was the ring.
I can't find a picture of the ring, and I'm trying to be careful not to dig too deep into it.
Oh, yeah, you should probably stay out of that.
Yeah, I'm like perusing the titles of these websites, and I'm
We'll
like,
look it up.
I'm not gonna look.
We'll look it up later. If we can find a picture, it will be on our Instagram. So go check out our Instagram.
Yes.
All right. So at that time, she bid her nurse goodnight and settled in to go to sleep. At 11:05 p.m., the day nurse left and Velma Petil, which I apologize if I'm saying her last name incorrectly, it's Pietila. And so she was the night nurse and she came to take over. Velma was a nurse since 1933 and had worked at the Glenshee Mansion for several years. She actually recently retired and was looking forward to spending more time with her husband. And she was there that night because a nurse had requested that night off and no one was able to fill the shift. So she agreed that she would go because she also missed Elizabeth. They became good friends. And this was in despite of her husband pleading with her to not go.
Oh no. 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 That's a...
I don't want to poke your eye out, but like, oh no. Red flag for the story, I'm assuming.
Envision this is a red flag. Yeah, whenever you hear in these Who Knows What Wednesday episodes, had begged her not to go, this had changed, or you start getting timelines that are detailed with like, it's 10 o'clock. Bad stuff's happened. The shoe is in the process of getting to the floor. Am I wrong? Yeah, see? I'm not wrong. I should have that on my tombstone. I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, that is like the saddest part. Because her husband's like, please don't go. And she's like, I'll go. I haven't seen Elizabeth in a really long time. It'll be nice to see my friend again.
Oh, shite, so McGee. I think I know where this is going, and I think you do too, Internet.
So Velma settled in for the night shift after the day nurse left. By the way, night shift workers, thank you, because it sucks.
Yep. I have not worked night shift, but watching Jess and Mitch go through that and other folks I know in the medical world, even any night shift, like retail, warehouse, any of it.
Anything. Hats off to you. It sucks and it takes a toll on you. So good on her for saying that she'll do a night shift after she retired. Oh, gosh.
She really missed Elizabeth.
I know. And Elizabeth is sleeping right now.
Yeah. Well, old folks, how often do they sleep soundly throughout the entirety of the night? The night?
The night?
I don't know what
The
just
night?
happened.
It's late.
It's
That's
been a
what
week.
happened.
Is it late?
No.
It's only 8:18, but it looks like it's freaking 2 a.m. outside.
Yeah, pretty much.
Minnesota winter.
Love it. All right. So,
So he begged her not to go, and she went.
yep. And so she was settling in for the night shift after the day nurse left. The following morning, around 7 a.m., the maid arrived to begin her rounds. As part of her usual duties, she went to unlock the front door to allow the day nurse to come in without needing to ring the doorbell. However, when she arrived at the door, it was already unlocked, which was highly unusual. At the same time, the day nurse arrived, and while the cook was preparing Elizabeth's breakfast, the nurse went to the refrigerator to retrieve Elizabeth's insulin, because you have to keep insulin in the fridge. After exchanging a few words with the cook, the nurse proceeded to check on Elizabeth. As she went up the stairs, she saw Velma laying on the bench seat under the window on the landing. At first, the nurse thought that Velma fell asleep or had potentially fallen and needed help. When she got closer, she discovered a large pool of blood under her head. She was already cold and stiff. On the floor, close by, was a bloodied brass candlestick.
I'm sorry, real quick, not to be crass. Original in the mansion with the candlestick? Really?
I am glad it wasn't just me, because that's where, when I was reading this, I'm like, Clue?
Right?
Sorry, it's really bad,
Sorry.
but
Sorry.
you
This
have
is
to
why
make
we're
light.
friends. Sorry.
You have to make light sometimes of these serious things.
Yet we're not making light of this. Well, we're making light of it, but we're not in like a mean way. It's how we process.
Yes, thank you. That's what I've been trying to, yeah.
Yes, it's how we process the bad stuff. So if you see us laughing after a bad thing, and it's not like the haha, it's the that's what that is.
Yeah, so
Now I got Tim Curry running around in my head at the end of Clue. Good movie. Should be rewatched.
maybe we do that, because I haven't actually seen it.
Girl.
I wasn't allowed to watch it.
I know, I forget. Every time I'm like, what? And then I
know.
remember and I'm like, oh
I
yeah.
wasn't allowed to watch it. I wanted to watch it.
Well, when we watch it, we gotta have my sisters because Nina loves that movie. Loves it, loves it, loves it.
It's on the list.
Oh yes.
All right. So, yes, there's a bloodied candlestick. The nurse then went upstairs to Elizabeth's room because she got very worried. Understandably so. When she entered, she discovered that the room was a complete mess. Drawers were pulled out, and there were empty jewelry boxes on the floor. Elizabeth was in her bed, and one of her arms was appearing to be bruised. There was a satin pillow covering Elizabeth's face.
Oh, Jesus.
Her gold watch and favorite ring were gone. You know, the ones that she slept with. They were gone. The staff called the police at 7:03 a.m. The staff then went outside to wait for the police because they were worried that whoever the killer or killers were could potentially still be inside.
I get it. Also unlikely at that point if Velma was there and she was already cold.
Yeah.
Like, they don't usually tend to hang around.
And they took stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're probably not, but I get it.
Yeah. Good point. In that situation, I would not want to be, hanging around and, I'm thinking about what I said in part 1. Yeah. I can see how you were like, do you know anything about this? Yeah. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So they swept the place. No one was inside, but they discovered a car was missing. One of the cars was missing. Believe it was Velma's car was missing. So Velma was beaten to death, and it looked like she put up quite a fight. There were blood droplets that were found in Elizabeth's room, which means that Velma was attacked first. Elizabeth was suffocated, and she had bruises on her left arm from where the attacker held her down. Because remember, she had a stroke, so she
couldn't use her right arm to fight off.
Yep. In the nurse's room, in the bathroom, there was a blood stain on the doorknob and faint blood spots in the sink, indicating that the killer washed up before they left. A canine unit was brought in to search, and they found the point of entry was most likely through a basement window that was broken. The police investigation began to focus on Marjorie Congdon and her husband, Roger Cladwell, due to their dire financial troubles and Marjorie's potential inheritance of $8 million.
I understand how that can be a motivation, but
I know. So the situation grew more suspicious after Lauren Pitilla, Velma's husband, reported his wife's car had been stolen. The car was later found at the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport with blood matching both Velma and Roger's blood type.
Oh, so they had the car for at least a solid 2.5, 3 hours to get that drive down. Because like Duluth in Minnesota, way up here. Well, not super way up here, but like it's north.
It takes like
it's about
2.5 hours to get to Duluth from here.
From around the city's area, yeah. And then
depending on where in the cities
depending
you
on
are.
where I'm thinking like because the airport is kind of at the southern end of the cities,
probably closer to 3,
yeah. So they had that for a while.
They had it for a while,
and they had plenty of time to pull over, think about what they did. Otherwise, don't like.
Yeah, long 3-hour car ride. The investigation deepened when authorities learned of Marjorie and Roger's financial desperation. They were regularly asking Elizabeth for money, and it became clear that they stood to gain substantially from her death. Police interviewed more than 100 people connected to the Congdon case, and as the evidence against the couple mounted, Marjorie and Roger became prime suspects. After Elizabeth's funeral, the Cladwells stayed in a Twin Cities Holiday Inn while waiting for the reading of her will. During this time, police obtained a search warrant of their hotel. Inside, they found items that had been taken from Elizabeth's bedroom that night of the murders, including a jewelry box and a wicker basket. Additionally, a gold coin was found in an envelope at the Cladwell's mailbox with a letter written in Roger's handwriting. That gold coin was like 100-some years old that Elizabeth had at her house. A receipt from the Twin Cities Airport gift shop for a suede suit bag that matched the one found in the Cladwell's hotel room further connected them to the crime. On July 5th, 1977, Roger Cladwell fell ill after a meal, and it was found to have high levels of Valium in his bloodstream.
Valium? As in the drug? As in he was poisoned?
That's the theory. Because there's also a theory that I didn't mention that there was a little tiff where Elizabeth was supposedly like potentially poisoned too for a little bit. Not for this, earlier.
Oh, so like prior to her actual death, someone had been supposedly trying to poison her?
Supposedly, yeah. There's a couple articles that are saying that, but...
Lifestyles of the rich and the famous.
Just after midnight on July 6th, Detective Waller read Roger his rights at the hospital that he went to because he had high amounts of Valium in his system. But Roger seemed unaware of the gravity of the situation and shrugged off the confrontation. Or he was just really high.
I was going to say, if he had large amounts of Valium in him.
He probably does not care about anything in the world right now.
No, as someone who has had that for procedures afterwards, when I'm not in the immediate peril of, having the procedure, I am very happy.
Yeah.
Very chill.
So who knows how much he was actually processing, depending on how high he was.
I was going to say, legally, I'm wondering how that works for like trying to talk to someone when they're in that state.
I don't know.
I'll find out about it.
You will.
I will.
Yeah. And then you can
Eventually.
tell me and the rest of the world.
Yes, I'll find out. I don't know. I'm curious.
So, despite the circumstantial evidence, such as Roger's swollen hand and cut lip, and a latent fingerprint on the envelope containing the gold coin, the police lacked hard evidence linking him to the murders.
Yeah.
Roger's fingerprints were not found at the Glenshee Mansion, and while the fingerprint comparison was inconclusive, it was used at the trial. In May 1978, Roger's trial began, and in July, he was convicted of 2 consecutive life sentences for the murders of Elizabeth and Velma.
Interesting.
Yep. Marjorie's trial followed Roger's conviction, but she was found not guilty of murder. I know.
Okay.
Yep. This verdict led Roger to appeal his conviction, citing a lack of evidence presented during Marjorie's trial. In 1982, the Minnesota Supreme Court ordered a new trial for Roger. Rather than risking a new trial, though, with a potentially uncertain outcome, prosecutors struck a deal with Roger Cladwell, allowing him to plead guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder for the deaths of Elizabeth and Velma. In exchange for his guilty plea, Cladwell avoided life in prison and became eligible for parole. Now, the plea was for information on Marjorie. And all the information he gave basically was not new. Yep. So he served just 5 years in prison before being paroled on July 5th, 1983. Although he was released, Cladwell was penniless and forced to return to his hometown in Pennsylvania, where he lived on welfare because Marjorie divorced him while he was still incarcerated. In a tragic end to his story, Roger Cladwell committed suicide on May 17th, 1988. Meanwhile, Marjorie's criminal activities did continue. She was later convicted of arson in New Mexico, and she served time in prison until her release in 2004. But I say continued because, no, I am not saying that she had anything to do with it because she was found innocent. I'm saying it because she was also convicted of arson in the 1980s.
Plus the fraud of procuring the credit cards and her husband's name and everything. Oh my god.
Yep. I just figured I would clarify.
Good clarify.
Not saying that. I am saying. So she was accused of setting a fire that destroyed a building, and she was subsequently convicted and sentenced for that crime. Later, in 1998, Marjorie was convicted again for arson in New Mexico. Did I say that? Yeah, so in 2004. And she was sentenced to prison for the second conviction, serving time before being released in 2004.
It's never just one fire for arsonists, is it? Mm-mm. I know there's some statistic about that. I just don't remember it right now. But off the top of my head, I want to say it's never just one.
So that is the story of the Glenshee Mansion murders.
Wow. So Roger, was convicted of the murder of Elizabeth and Velma.
Yes.
There's no connecting Marjorie to it. I would be very interested to see or hear how Jennifer, Marjorie's sister, feels about all this.
Mm-hmm. It seems like Jennifer is more like Elizabeth in the sense of she kind of wants to be more private. Like all of the big donations that Elizabeth did, she was always very, very private with them. Like she wanted to give, but she didn't want the recognition of it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I can appreciate that.
So that is my assumption that that is how her other daughter is. So us finding that is probably not going to happen.
You know, and I'm just looking, because now I can look.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking through and I'm like, let's see. Ooh, so here's a little note here. According to a retelling of Minnesota's infamous Glenshee murders by Joe Kimball, I'm just going to read directly here.
Mm-hmm.
Because of her, Elizabeth's illness, her fortune was being held by a trust, and the trustees cut Marjorie and Roger off. Let's see. Marjorie's own trust fund had been wiped out by spending. She and Roger had their house foreclosed and their cars repossessed.
Are we surprised?
No.
No. Yeah, there's a lot more about this, and there are a lot of stories. Heck, there's even a musical about this now, which I guess someone told me that they did get the okay of the existing family or like all the living relatives still to make sure that it was okay that they did that. But there is a musical about this, which I guess is really amazing, and I was told that I need to go see it.
Yeah.
And we can go and see the Glenshee Mansion. They do tours. What did you
I was going
find?
to say we should. Also, interesting, now that I'm digging, according to an article from June 27, 2022, Trail of Clues legal twist kept Glenshee murder case going for years from the Duluth News Tribune. 3 days before Elizabeth's death, Marjorie had authorized a paper saying Roger was about to receive $2.5 million of her share of her $8 million inheritance at the time of her mother's death.
I read it and then lost that article. And I was like, well, it's too late. I'm not going to put it in.
Nope, you're good. It's an interesting piece of information. Do with it what you will.
Yep. But now you can go and tour the Glenshee Mansion if you would like.
We should totally do that.
It's not like the Winchester where they dive into the spooky. The murder is not one of their big marketing tactics. Most people don't know about the murders.
I was going to say, I just want to see the place because it sounds cool.
It's cool. Have you Googled it yet?
No, I haven't got to that part yet.
Okay. We definitely drove past it. I have driven past it numerous times. But when we went to Duluth, we definitely passed it.
Ooh.
Because you see it and it is gorgeous. It's the really big mansion in Duluth.
I am interested in seeing this. And get back here. My page refreshed. Hang on. Where'd it go? Here we go. Okay. So in that same article from June 27, 2022 in the Duluth News Tribune, it's talking John DeSanto, the prosecutor of the case, kept that key piece of evidence from the trial, the envelope with the fingerprint that was contested. Years later, it doesn't say how many, he had it DNA tested, and it was a 99% match for Roger Caldwell.
There you go. So inconclusive fingerprinting, but got it on DNA years later. Yeah, you can also get married at this mansion too. It's gorgeous. Yeah, and they also have like a Christmas tour, so they get it all Christmassy.
Aww.
It looks really nice.
That would be really fun to do. Maybe that's what we do, because I have that break in between healing. Yeah.
So
that would be good.
Yeah. But we can keep researching and keep spiraling because there's a lot in this. But this was a fascinating case. And for me, it really intrigued me because there was a lot of backstory to this one. It wasn't just the incident.
There is a lot. I really wish that there was a picture of that ring.
I know, I can't find it anywhere.
I know, I'm looking, and I'm getting nothing. I mean, she was very private. I get
She
it.
was very private.
But I'm like, that just. I'm getting Etsy strawberry rings, and I'm like, that's not what I'm.
That's not the
Not what I'm looking
same.
for.
All right. But
Oh
on
well.
that note, thank you so
Yes.
much for sticking around and listening to the story. Hopefully, part 2 lived up to your expectations.
Yes, and if not, don't tell us. Just don't share that. Let us think that we did a phenomenal job. Let us have our delusion here. Yes. Correction. Jess did a phenomenal job on this episode. I'll fight anyone who says otherwise. I'm just here providing commentary. You can have commentary on the commentary. I don't care. Oh,
All right. Well, so that was our case for this week. We have another eclipse episode coming out on Saturday, and then we will have another episode out for you guys for another Who Knows What Wednesday, most likely for next week.
yeah. Until then, adios.
Bye.
What the hell? More money, more problems.
Mm-hmm.
The rappers had it right.
Yep.